Hi, everybody, and welcome to another Tech Talk Tuesday. And today, I'm really excited that we have a special guest for today's live session, and we're going to be diving into a game-changing approach to marketing, one that actually lasts longer than 24 hours, right? Most people spend way too much time chasing social media trends only to watch their content disappear overnight. But what if your marketing efforts worked for you long term without constant engagement? That's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And I couldn't be more excited to introduce Laura Rike, a Pinterest strategist and founder of Simply Pintastic, who's helped clients bring in over 50K with smart, sustainable Pinterest marketing. So, Laura, welcome. Before we dive into strategies, tell us, how did you get started in the Pinterest space?
Yeah, actually, thanks for having me. I started out as a graphic designer. I went to school for graphic design and advertising design. And then I double majored in marketing and business. And I really, really actually enjoyed it. But it sounds funny, but it wasn't challenging enough for me. Like it was a lot of the same repetitiveness when it comes to design, even though they were different designs. And so I became a VA. It landed in my lap straight out of school. Had an assistant that was like, "Hey, we need to have you stay on, even though your internship is done." I was like, "Oh, I could do this." And then my kid, who is now 17, came to me when he was like 5 and shut my laptop and started yelling at me one day that I'm always on my computer. I'm always working, always doing too much. And I was like, dude, you don't understand. I'm doing this for you. So I decided I needed to pick one thing that would be something that lights me up, that gets results for my clients. I had been doing Pinterest as a VA back then, and I really was able to see the results for my clients and find the love that I had for design in the background. So I switched, went rogue, and now all I do is Pinterest.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Pinterest is wildly misunderstood as just another social media platform.
Mm.
And you say it's a search engine. Can you break down why that's such a game changer for business owners?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like social media, you go to Facebook and you're scrolling through, you go to Instagram, you're scrolling through, and they have a feed and they have their own purpose. I'm not saying social media is bad by any means, but Pinterest works more like a search. So when users go to the platform, they're actually going to the platform with an intent to search for something specific, whether that's a need, a product, they want to learn something. It doesn't matter. They're not going there just to scroll through the feed all the time. Sometimes they will, because over time, your feed will start to fill with things that you've searched for in the past. But most of the time, they're looking for help in that exact moment. And so when you start to use it like Google, and you start to understand that if I say this phrase, how to use Pinterest, how to cross stitch, that's what they're going to be typing. And then they find the pretty images, the descriptions, the titles that speak to them. And then that's how we get the traffic and the clients and the sales.
And so you were saying that the content lasts instead of like where social, it's really like Instagram and Facebook is really, and TikTok is all about that feed and it just disappears. So
Yeah.
you're saying that with Pinterest, your content can last for months or years. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually really cool. The work that you put into it doesn't just go away, right? And so we know the social media hustle. We know that like we're constantly trying to figure out what our social media plan is for that week or that month. You're still going to plan out like you would any marketing strategy. But what's nice is when you start to tap into the right phrases and the right keywords, you're going to get the return from that because they're going to save the pin. They're going to click through the pin. And that then tells Pinterest, this is something people are enjoying. So they start to put it up in the searches higher. When that happens, the more engagement you get from that, and not social engagement, right? The clicks, the saves, the pull up the pin closer and look at it a little bit more, then you start to be shown to more people and it starts to compound. And then Pinterest just keeps it up in that search because people are still engaging with it. It could be seasonal where you're posting something for, say, a Thanksgiving recipe, or maybe it's a launch that you have as a client and you launch it in March every year. If that key term is trending or highly searched around that time every year, you're going to be found again and again and again. And so that's just one way. The other way is by repurposing it. So we always tell people plan out 4 to 6 months in advance. People literally in June are starting to look for Christmas stuff. Like, it's crazy to think about, but you put yourself out there in the computer system, the algorithm, then you start to get that engagement. You'll start to be found. Then next year, if you're going to start to pre-plan for a launch or Christmas or a trend or whatever, you're going to create a new pin for that same piece of content you already have. You don't have to create tons of new content and reinvent the wheel. You can repurpose what's working with a different image, a different hook. Maybe you want to rank for a different keyword that's in that same space. So really, your content can last years. I mean, I have a pin on Pinterest that goes to an Evergreen masterclass that I teach. I put that pin up probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm still getting traffic to the masterclass.
Amazing. Amazing. So I'm so fascinated by this, right? The fact that like you're actually getting ROI, like more ROI for your content, because every other platform, you have to drive traffic via either ads or emails to drive people there, because, you know, the algorithm is really about getting people to be stuck on the platform. Whereas it sounds like Pinterest is really more interested in quality content that engages people. It's very different how the play. It's so interesting to see how like the different social media platforms just function completely differently.
Yeah,
Right?
and that's the thing that I talk about a lot too is there's actually two sides to Pinterest, right? And I call it the computer rather than the algorithm because it's less like a social media algorithm. It's if you talk to the computer, the code, and then you talk to the user. And so the code is going to be the strategy, the keywords, the things like that. And then the user is going to be the images, the love language, the how are you solving my problem? How can you help me? How can I sign up for your services type thing? So I always talk about Pinterest as like a twofold. You have a computer and a user, and you need to make them mesh.
This is the most magnificent way I've ever heard Pinterest explained. Like, y'all, this is magic. Like, this makes way more sense. Like, you're actually able, because that's what we always talk about, right? Is that you don't want to just pitch to everybody. You want to know, like, they have a problem that you can solve and that you can communicate to them about how you have a solution. So, I mean, this definitely sounds like you're going to be able to connect with your audience a little bit better in more of a way that makes sense to both parties, right? Yeah, it's not like you're
100%.
having to go, you know, do silly songs and dances and trending audio just for anyone to see you, so that then maybe they'll actually see some other content where you're actually providing a solution. So that is super interesting. So like a lot of people presume that Pinterest is only for bloggers, DIYers, you know, or like arts are more artistic, right? And you're telling me that it's not true. Can you share a little bit more about who should actually be using Pinterest in 2025?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, go for it.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to, I didn't think I was going to share my screen, but we'll do it. It'll rock on. So this is my profile, and Pinterest is really for anybody that wants to be found online. And when I say that, I've had a lot of pushback before about Okay, well, that's like very general, right? Like, can you narrow it down? Okay, so here's how I give my unbiased opinion, right? So we're gonna go into like, let's do website design. Maybe you help someone with websites. You type in website design and you want to be on all pins, not mine. And then you look at this, right? How to create a website
Wow.
using Canva, how to lay out the anatomy of your website, what you should include on your homepage. And so if these are things that you can talk to, or maybe you have a freebie offer or designs of websites, even look at like
An
some
array of
people putting up
your live
designs that they have.
trainings you've done, or
Yeah.
like a blog you wrote, or
Yep. Blog,
oh my gosh,
podcast,
like I know a lot
YouTube
of people
video.
here do weekly live trainings, and all it's going to take is take the transcript from that and an image.
Yep.
No,
Yep. And so you can do that even if you do a live video and you take your live video from Facebook and you or YouTube or a podcast even, and you put it into like an AI platform that does the cuts for you or CapCut or whatever, you can also do video pins and give them that good nugget that you're going to share on social
whoa,
media or TikTok and then link back, right? Because all it is they're going to click here and then they want to visit your site. So you're just going to click on where they can visit. And it's going to be like, even on my profile, I have a video here, right? Whether you're getting started or whatever, like people are going to be able to see that just like any other pin that they're going to see on the platform. And it can be for anything, right? I know a ton of mindset people that are working on mindset coaching for women specifically. And so
whoa.
they can go in here and now you see growth mindset activities, 6 tips to developing a millionaire mindset. Like if these are live streams, podcasts, you could have been a guest on a podcast, a blog, like anything. You can, any URL that you can grab offline and then link to a pin you can share on Pinterest. So I tell people, think about it as the top of funnel that brings in the right people at the right time, primed to learn from you or buy from you. And
Wow.
so that's my unbiased opinion is whatever niche you're in, whatever.
Did I lose you?
You did. There we go.
Oh, that was weird. That was
I
weird.
don't know what I did. I must have hit something. It was probably me. But yeah, my unbiased opinion is whatever niche you're in, whatever business you are, go into Pinterest and go to the search bar. It's the top right on desktop, it's the bottom center on mobile device. Just type that in and see what pulls up. If there is stuff that pulls up that other people are talking about, that you educate on, that you offer as a service, a digital product, whatever, it's a missed opportunity for you, really, is what it is. I don't believe in competition. I believe that everybody's attracted to you for the right reasons. And so it's really a missed opportunity for them to learn if that attraction is there. Are you speaking that love language for them, and do they want to work with you?
So that's absolutely fascinating. I've known Laura for a minute, and Pinterest has always seemed like this like thing just
Awesome
exists.
assistance. Yeah.
It's this altruistic, like, oh, it's pretty. And someone who's been in tech, I was like, well, I mean, that's for pretty stuff. I do tech. What do you want? No one wants tech over there. But you just blow my mind. There's
Oh, people want tech over
come
there.
learn about websites, come learn about this. And I'm like,
Yep.
so, and
And
also
funnel marketing and sales marketing, all of that kind of stuff. Like ClickFunnels is a client of mine.
So any coach who has
Yeah.
something to teach people, Pinterest is going to be a solid way to go.
Yes.
Okay, that is super cool. So now you have a 50K Pinterest strategy, right? So you've helped clients generate of over 50K in monthly revenue using Pinterest. Can you walk us through like the core elements of a Pinterest strategy that converts?
Yeah. Yeah. And so,
Oh, no, we lost your audio.
ooh,
There we go. You're back.
perfect. Tech over here, man. I maybe need to have Colleen come to my house.
Might have to make like a old school Dr. House calls.
Yeah, actually, I know what it is. It's stinking -10 here. My tech just doesn't like the weather.
We are in another Polar Express. For those of you who are not anywhere near the East Coast or Midwest, we are now on our third Polar Express. Like, we've just named it the Polar Express at this point. Like, outside, there's a foot of snow. I'm out just outside DC.
Yeah.
It is insane.
I'm
Right?
in
Like,
Minnesota. It's -10.
oh, that's
But
right. You're in like
gratefully,
legit snowland. Yeah,
yeah,
she's in like the Arctic tundra right now. I'm like, I think I'd be a vacation for her. She'd be like, "Oh, that's a nice summer vacation. Just a couple
probably.
inches of snow, and you
Probably.
can
I know.
drive
I
down the
actually have a
streets."
family wedding that I'm flying out to tomorrow. So thankfully, I get a little bit of a break for a few days.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're a trooper. You're a trooper.
Oh, but yeah, so tech over here, my mic doesn't like me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I broke it down into like easy bite-sized tips that can help people understand both sides, computer and user. And I go through the breakthrough of setup, systems, strategy, and scale. And then that really walks you through literally every piece that you would need in terms of, okay, in my setup, like there could be people that are on Pinterest and they're like, I'm getting tons of impressions and I'm getting traffic, but nothing's converting. In the setup piece, we address it's probably not converting because the foundation of your profile wasn't set up to talk to the computer. It's only set up to talk to the users. And so each piece of the puzzle really makes a difference. And so I wanted to lay it out in the easiest way possible to be able to help people wherever they're at, right? And I say love from where you're at. If you've been on the platform for years or you're just trying to start out, it goes from beginner to advanced, and it's really, really bite-sized, easy ways to break it up. And I also have a Pinterest experience going on right now where we go through a lot of that too. So that's
This is
something
so cool. And also,
pretty
she has a
cool.
little quiz for you. So
Yeah.
I know we have another treat for you, but if you want to take her quiz, just make sure you comment quiz and we'll get that out to you.
Yeah, that quiz will tell you where you're at in
Yeah.
those 4 steps. So that
Yeah.
way, then I send you personalized videos of really what to fix, what to focus on with where you're at in that journey.
So what is the number one mistake you see entrepreneurs making when trying to use Pinterest for business? Like, talk about like treating it like social media, not optimizing or expecting things to magically just be delightful on day one.
Yeah, so Pinterest isn't gonna be delightful on day one. There are a lot of things that you can do to the foundation of your profile, your boards, things like that, and you'll start to see a spike in analytics, but it really is long-term game. And I say game loosely, right? Long-term strategy for your marketing. It shouldn't be the only thing you're doing. You're not going to become a millionaire overnight, but my guess is you're a business owner. You already have other marketing strategies. You already have content out there. You're already busting your butt to find the right people. You will start to leads organically on rinse and repeat. I always say give it at a bare minimum 6 months to start really learning the platform, really understanding what you need to be doing in terms of keywords, things like that, so that you can see that return. Because even if you give it 6 months, that 6 months can then propel you for the next year with the stuff that you already have on there. And there's a lot of gurus out there that say you need to be pinning 20 times a day, 30 times a day. You need to be doing this, that, and the other thing to really make it work. I've done case studies with clients of mine. I had a client who was pinning 2 times a day and a client who was pinning 12 times a day, or roughly around there, right? And their incremental increases in that 6-month window, percentage wise, was super, super close to each other. So their traffic both increased almost the same amount, but not numbers in percent. So 20%, 30%. And it didn't matter. They were both in the same niche, but it didn't matter what pins they were pinning or how often they were pinning. It was the quality and it was the length of time that they're giving the platform to put them into that system and find the right people.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I love that it doesn't have to be the most exhaustive strategy
No.
to still get you the results that you're looking for. Like, this is like magic music to my ears, because you know, running your social content can be really exhausting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. For those who are just getting started, what are like the first, you know, 2 or 3 things they should do to set up do today to set up Pinterest for long-term growth?
Yeah.
Like setting up a business account, like is there keyword research, or maybe even getting, like, is there a good number of pins to start with?
Yeah, for sure. So, the profile is probably going to be the best place to start. Just even if you don't have pins that you're ready to do or things like that, you can be found for your profile based on if you set it up for search. And so the first thing I would say is go on the platform and start to do that search, right? Start to figure that out. You can take a screenshot if you have questions, post it in my group, in Colleen's group. It doesn't matter. I'll come help and answer them. But start to figure out what are people actually searching on the platform, because that's going to be the biggest time consuming piece for you. And if you can start to keep track of the research that you've done on a Google Doc or whatever, and just know like, oh, these are phrases that people are looking up and this is where I want to be found, start to put that in your bio, put that in your name, put that, like, if you look at my Pinterest account, it doesn't just say Laura Rike Simply Pintastic. It says Laura Rike Pin Marketing, Inbound Marketing. Like, there are words in there to be found. So start to think about that and then set up your profile name and bio and boards with those phrases so that you have that foundation.
So if someone already has like a Facebook group, like, would you want to use similar terms, or would you want to try looking at that a little bit differently?
Yeah, so it's probably going to be a little bit different. The keywords between Pinterest and Google SEO are very similar. They may be trending at different times. They may have different search intents or search volumes. So that would be more closely aligned. But having other social platforms probably aren't going to have the same phrases or words that you would be using on the Pinterest platform, just because they're different uses in marketing. So I would still say take time to go and look at, even Pinterest offers a free tool. It's trends.pinterest.com. You can go search words in there and categories in there where you want to be found. And that will also show you tons of search volume, what's actually trending, when it's going to be trending, things like that. So that could be super helpful as well.
Very cool. And I just threw that in the comments so folks can check that out.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about the difference between Pinterest and other marketing platforms a bit, right? Like, if someone's already running Facebook ads, Instagram, or SEO, like, you know, what is the biggest unique advantage to Pinterest?
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest unique advantage is that you don't have to be social. Like, you can say something 7 different ways, reach 7 different types of people searching those 7 different things, and lead back to one piece of content that you have. So it's like working smarter, because you don't have to create 500 blog posts tomorrow or 600 podcast episodes or whatever it is, right? You could go back to a live stream that was done 5 years ago and now put it up on your Pinterest profile in 3 different terms that people are searching. And now you have 3 different types of audiences that are coming back to that live stream that you already did. So I think it's time saving and you don't have to be social.
And it sounds like you're going to have, you know, a higher longevity of the content.
Yeah.
It's lower competition than the millions of people making, like, you know, 2-second content for the reels. right? And passive lead generation, right? Like,
yeah. And so the passive lead generation is huge because you don't have to focus on spending money on ads. Like, don't get me wrong, I spend money on Facebook ads, right? Like, there's a time and a purpose for that. But if you aren't in the place to want to or have to pay for ads, you can say terms that will rank you not only on Pinterest for a certain term, but on Google with your Pinterest account so that you can bring in attracting people who are ready to give you their name and email. And you don't have to go and recreate the wheel tomorrow. They're going to still find you tomorrow. They're going to find you next month for that same phrase.
Amazing. So, Laura, this has really been amazing having you on here. I know our audience is already rethinking their marketing strategy. And just so you guys know, like, it's not a do this or that. It's complementary marketing strategies that can help amplify your work, right?
Yes, 100%.
And if you're ready to stop chasing leads and start building sustainable evergreen traffic, if you drop a pin me in the comments, Laura will follow up with you with her free training, the Pintastic Experience. I also pinned a link to that in the comments. You guys can grab that as well.
Awesome.
Maybe we should hide that, and they have to like comment so that they have to.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah, we're gonna make you work for it.
I love it.
If you want to get in touch with Laura, I tagged her in the post. You can email her at info@laurarike.com. That's LAURARIKE.com. Rike. Oh my God. She just corrected me for the first time, like on Monday. And
because it doesn't bother me.
As a spicy brain, it always gets me, because I don't like when I'm called Cooleen.
Okay, well, here's a way so you never forget it. How do you say the cycle? The thing that you ride. Yeah, bike. Rike like bike.
Bike, Rike. Ah, see. I love it. Coming in with the brain connections.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we're gonna pop into our Zoom room. So any of the nerdly community want to ask Laura any questions, be there for the next few minutes for an open Q&A. So glad to have you out here, y'all. If you have not even thought about this, Laura does have a Facebook group you can check out. So if you just comment pin in the comments, we'll make sure that she gets in touch with you. We get you to check out her group. She's got resources you can just kind of noodle through if you're like, I don't know. Because even me, I was hesitant about this. I was like, I don't know, this sounds like hieroglyphics. Like, what are you talking about? This is, you mean I don't have to go have conversations with 5 million people at the same time? So, so this definitely, based on the conversations we've had, I'm actually going to be moving forward with some Pinterest marketing next month. We're finally ripping that Band-Aid off. And it's definitely something that can help complement what you're already doing, because it's not a major time-consuming strategy. So, and it's already, you can leverage the stuff that you're already doing. Because I know a lot of people here, we have our Facebook groups, we do live trainings, we do guest speakers, we do lead magnets and all sorts of things. All of that can be repurposed. And that's really the name of 2025 that we're going to be really diving, like really, we're going to beat that horse until it's glue, is repurposing your content. Because there's billions of people in this world and they're all on different platforms, right? Yeah. Why limit yourself to a singular point, right? Like that just is not going to be the solution that is going to get you where you want to be.
Yeah. And they all learn from different modalities too. Like that's why we have podcasts and blog posts and videos, and everybody is different. And so it's just easy if you learn to be able to figure out that sweet spot for repurposing that content, and then use Pinterest to just drive the right people that want that type of modality to that piece of content.
Awesome. Well, I see a bunch of comments from nerdly folks who are like, wait, we could come in the Zoom. So yes, just as a reminder for everybody, like I do my lives here every week, and then I open up the Zoom room so that there can be live Q&A. That is another value add for being in the Nerdly community, folks. That you don't just get these, and those that are in the Nerdly community, they also get breakdowns of what the training was, right? So we have our live training that's also here, but if you're a Nerdly user, you get step-by-step breakdowns on what was covered in the live training so that you can take that and move on and actually utilize. Yeah, let's do that. All right, later, nerds. Where's my balloons?
I don't know. Oh, there we go.
There we go. And then,
yeah.
all right, see you next time.